Hey, Adam Lavelle of KnuckleTFUp.com, KnuckleTFUp.com. And I'm here to talk about One Championship Friday fights. Man, this is on September 12th, 2025. It was Friday fights number 123. Friday fights number 123. Folks, I love this stuff. I mean, I just did a bare knuckle fighting championship review. I love that stuff as well. Bare knuckle boxing and dirty boxing. These are my four favorite companies. But man, I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's just something special about small glove Muay Thai. Now, I love bare knuckle because it's brutal, because anybody can win at any second, at any time, and just never know. Completely unpredictable. Muay Thai is much of the same way. I think I like Muay Thai so much because it seems to combine the excitement and the anything can happen atmosphere of bare knuckle with the more sporty, glove-wearing, dirty boxing. Now, am I here to say I like it better? No. I like all these companies about equally. But I'm telling you, Muay Thai keeps just getting further and further up my chart of what excites me the most. I don't. Let's just get into it, guys. Let's just get into it. I want to go on a spiel about why I love this so much, and I'm kind of, at this point, incapable of doing it. You just have to see it to understand. So let's talk about it. And folks, starting this show, I'm going to try to just talk about the fights instead of just analyze them, who won what round and what have you. I do that on my social media. So if you're not following me, go to KnuckleTFUp.com. The links to all my social medias are there, and I only talk about fighting on my social medias. I'm talking about Twitter, of course, with the death of Charlie Kirk. I have talked a little politics on my Twitter, on my X, but it's mostly fighting. Facebook, it's nothing but the companies I follow. And, of course, TikTok, where I post all my reviews. Follow me on social media, especially the Facebook, okay? Because that's where I really drop all kinds of stuff, all kinds of information and pictures and what have you on all the fighting companies that I love so much. Now, again, getting into number 123 of Friday fights from September 12th, it kicked off with Sansei taking on Hikaru Furamura. I enjoyed this. I enjoy all of these. So sometimes I sound like a broken record, and that's what I want to try to stop doing. It seemed like Sansei was kind of dominating this. Not really, dominating is probably not the right word, but he was in control of it. He really seemed to be advancing more. He really seemed to be controlling the pace of the fight. You know what I mean? What's great about Muay Thai fights, it's 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.5 times out of 10, both guys are fully engaged for all 3 rounds. I mean, there's very little times of measuring. There's very little times of finding their way. You know, it's only 3 rounds, so they got to get going, and that's what all these companies I like do. Very short rounds, very few rounds, right? And that's what works. But, man, when Furamura nailed a hard jab that set Sansei down for the count, it was a shocker. Not because, I didn't believe Furamura could do it, but because it really seemed like Sansei was in control. If he would have kept going the way that he did, the way that he was on his way to winning that fight, at least by points. But Furamura caught a kick at one point and, dropped it and like sort of when they come in after you drop a kick. And that wasn't the knockout punch, but it started it. And shortly after that, he just nailed a hard straight right that sent the guy who I believe was winning, Sansei, down to the count. What did you guys think of that fight? I thought it was a great way to kick off. It only went 2 rounds, of course. That's when the knockout happened. But hey, that's 2 out of 3, right? So there are only 3 rounds here. Great way to kick off the show, in my opinion. I really enjoyed this one. I enjoyed just about all of these, as is the norm with Muay Thai. I think that's another reason Muay Thai is starting to scratch its way to the top of my list, because I love bare knuckle and I love dirty boxing, but they still have some fights that the fighters aren't engaging that much, that it seems like they're fighting not to lose instead of fighting to win, and I don't hardly ever see that in Muay Thai. Now that I've said that, I'll probably see it, but I'm telling you, so far in my Muay Thai journey, I seldom see it, and if I do, it's for a minute or so. It's not entire rounds, it's not entire fights. Speaking of, the second fight was Alberti Ramazanov taking on Durchan. Now, bear with me, guys. I'm learning these names and I'm getting them. Alberti Ramazanov versus Durchan. Durchan pressed forward during all round one. And that's one thing I'm always looking for, right? You're watching these fights, you're going to see who's pressing the fight, who is showing that and you got to be careful. I get that. If you can't be a zombie and just walk in endlessly, you're going to get knocked the hell out. You're going to get kicked. You're going to get taken down. But guys who are so confident in their defense and their ability to bob or weave and whatever they need to do, stick and move, right? The guys most confident in that are always the most fun to watch. He looked dangerous, did Durchan. Ramazonov was a counter fighter, all round one. He just stood back and countered. He allowed Durchan to come in, but Ramazonov, he countered just about every time. And right before the round ended, Ramazonov nailed Durchan with a straight right that put him down and out. So, while I'm sitting here saying how much I love people who press the fight like Durchan did here, because he did, if you aren't careful and you're fighting an excellent counter fighter, which is what Ramazonov seemed to be here, you're going to get your ass handed to you. You're going to get a shot's going to get through. A guy's going to let you press. A guy's going to let you press. Maybe you even get some great shots in. But if you don't knock this guy out with your constant pressing, you're going to get sat down. And that's what happened here before the end of the first round. Alverde Ramazonov wins it by knockout. But again, I still do appreciate the guys who want to press the fight, as Durchan did. So I don't want him to go away. I hope we get to keep seeing him. And pretty much, Muay Thai is not like Dana White's UFC, where if you lose a match or two, you're never seen again, which I'm thankful for. Sometimes you'll go away for a little while. Maybe you'll have to, go fight in a lesser show until they see you got your stuff back, but they'll bring you back just about every single time. The third fight was Sipalang versus Dade. Yeah, sounds like dead. But from what I understand, DED in Thai culture means cool or awesome. Okay, so Dead was taking on Sipalang here in a battle of youngsters. Sipalang is 18, Dead is 19. I mean, two super young guys. We're going to get an even younger guy later in the show. Very active first round, but Dead's seeming to control it. And about midway, Sipalang marched forward and took some of the control back. So this was pretty much dead even. An 18 and a 19-year-old competing like the bull of the woods they are, Daddy, because they're coming up through the ranks, right? Super young guys just stepping up on Friday fights to try to earn their way into the one championship company under $100,000 contract. And that's what they fought like. Kicks, strikes, elbows. I mean, if you like action, this is a must-see fight. I'm calling this the fight of the night. These two just legitimately never stopped. Round two, much of the same thing. But here, Sipalang found his pace and pushed a little bit more. At the end of round two, I would say he edged it out. I think round one and round two was kind of split. Sipalang Dead won the first one. Sipalang won the second one. Now it's going to come down to the third round of the fight. This is the kind of shit I love, guys. I mean, if you're going to go all three rounds, they have to be active rounds. If you're in a fight and you're doing sort of the finding my pace, getting my measurements in, even though I believe that's true, and even though I know that's a technical form of fighting, boxing, Muay Thai, what have you, I get it. This is a show, right? It's not fake like pro wrestling, but it's a show. You want to put on a show. And that's what both of these guys did every single round. They never stopped. And that's the same way round three went. They're in each other's face, literally. I'm not talking about phone booth fighting. I'm not talking about chest to chest. I'm talking about just flurries upon flurries of guys who most of us, who talk about it would pass out after just a minute or so of doing this. These guys did that for 3 rounds, showing incredible stamina, incredible power, incredible chins and jaws, making it the whole way through. How the judges decided this, I would never wanted to have been a judge, but they gave it to Dead by split decision. This is a must-see mother effing fight. If you're ever going to show somebody what Muay Thai is all about, you show them this fight, the third fight on Friday Fights 123 from September 12, 2025. Dead wins by split decision over Sipalang in an excellent battle. Damn it. Next up, the fourth fight of the night was Kong Pao Sai, said that wrong, versus Payakut. Back and forth action in round one. Now, this fight was similar to the last, but not quite on the same level. That doesn't mean it was bad. If I would have saw this fight first, I'd have been like, damn, this is the fight you got to show someone who wants to know what Muay Thai is about. And it still isn't a bad one to show them. It's just that the one before this was better. But this was, Kung Pao Sai was the most aggressive in round one, taking nothing away from Peakrut, who often responded, but not every single time. So the offensive flurries, the offensive banter, most of the offense in round one was shown by Peakrut. Okay, or I'm sorry, Kung Pao Sai, who fought back, but not quite as much. Round two was pretty much the same, but another very active and exciting round, back and forth. I say round three will decide this fight. That's where we are again. Once again, round one, round two, pretty mixed, pretty even. I think one guy won one, the other guy won two. It could have went either way, honestly. So it's going to come down to round three. Okay? But in round three, Peakrut knocked Kung Pao Sai down. Now, that may know, okay, well, knockdown, that's nice. No, that's a big deal. If you've got an even balls-to-the-wall fight and somebody gets knocked down, even if they jump back up and they're telling the ref, I'm fine. You don't even have to count to 8. They still do. But I'm fine. Come on, let's go. Doesn't matter. He got set down. And oftentimes that leads to a loss for who that happens to. And that's what happened here, as Peakrut won by unanimous decision. I don't want to insult judges. They know more than me. There's no doubt about that. But when you watch a fight and you think, man, this is so back and forth. Who's winning this? These guys get trained to they know how points are scored better than me or any of you do, or unless some of you are Muay Thai fighters, you might know. But look, I didn't think anybody won this by unanimous decision, but the judges disagreed, giving it to Peakrut because he knocked Kung Pao Sai down, in my opinion. How can they give it to him? Because this isn't really decided round by round. They judge it by overall performance, and I really think that knockdown made all the difference, not just in that round, but in the decision for the fight. Should it have? That's a discussion for another day, guys, as I get more into this and get to understanding how the scoring and stuff like that officially works. But the fifth fight was Kongbu Rapa taking on Yorudan. Both fighters were a little measured to start the first round. The thing I complained about, you don't want to do this too often. You don't see it in Muay Thai too often. What is measured? When they walk around and they're doing that kind of thing where they're not really connecting, the guy's sort of putting his arm up. They're measuring. They're trying to get a feel. They're trying to find their spot in the fight. They're trying to find their position, right? And the first round was sort of that. Then Yorudan knocked Kongbu Para down with a stiff jab 1 minute into round one. So the first minute was like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Until Yorudan, bam, Kongbu Rapa goes down. He picked it up in the second round, but it wasn't enough. Yudokan knocked him down 2 more times in the second round. And 5 seconds before that second round ended, Yudokan wins by TKO. Kick-ass fight. Even though, I'm sorry, it only went 1 round. It didn't go into the second. Sometimes I'm glancing in my notes and trying to look into the camera, but in the first round. So it was pretty even for the first minute and a half. Yodokan gets a knockdown, and his opponent, Kongbu Para, gets back up, and when he does, he gets knocked stone cold, flat out. It was almost at the end of the first round. That's why I was thinking it was the second round, but it was not. First round winner in a pretty tight fight. But the short time that it lasted, Yorudan. Next up on this show was Sandro Bosi taking on Kirill Shizik. And man, Bosi's only 16 years old and looks it. That's not an insult. I mean, you're going to always appreciate when you're older if you look a little younger. Trust me, I don't have that advantage going for me. But this fight was terrific. It ended quickly, but the first round saw both of them engage pretty well. Chizik is definitely experienced and fought like he was, and Bosi's not experienced, but fought like he was. This young boy, this Wunderkind, if you will, he's not German, but he's Russian, but I don't know how to say Wunderkind in Russian. He is amazing. He landed a hard straight right to Chizik's face and knocked him out cold at the 2 minute and 45 second mark. So it almost went the whole first round, 15 seconds away from it. But man, it made this kid look even better because it's like he was measuring for this shot. They fought well. It wasn't a bunch of, stalling and in there jack-offing around. They actually went at it to pretty decent lengths of this first round. They were striking and kicking very well. But as soon as Bosi saw the opening, he took it. And Shizik not only went down, he went down like a brick. He was out. The stiff as a board, eyes roll back into the back of your head. He was out. This kid not only landed the punch that ended this fight, he landed a hard punch that turned the lights out on Chiswick, and it was something to behold. I can't wait to keep following this kid's career. I think he's got something special. I know you can't base it on one fight. He was terribly impressive, greatly impressive, I should say, and I am excited to see him fight again. And he said his goal is to become the youngest one championship champion in history. And by the looks of this fight, it's just one fight, Adam. It's just one fight. I think he could do it. And I am excited that I am along for the ride. Major win for the 16-year-old Sandro Bossi. Damn, what a fight. Short one, but maybe I should say, what a knockout. What a punch. What a fighter. Impressive. Okay, the seventh fight was Mayamat taking on MUAY. Yeah, it's MUAY. 1 minute into the round, Mayamat knocks MUAY down with a hard right shot. 1 minute in, MUAY is down on his ass, okay? MUAY was up quick and turned his offense, and the round was pretty even after that. I mean, he turned his offense up, did MUAY. He came in, and he's like, no, I got to make up for that. And I'm sure he was hoping he would knock Mayamat down. He did not, but he evened it up, not score-wise. You're not going to overcome a knockdown. I'm sure this ended 10-9 in Mayamat's favor, but he really did a lot to show us that he was back, okay? We came out like a wild bull in the second round because, again, he was knocked down. So I love to see that, guys, but you can't let it get into your head so badly that your offense is kind of off. You know what I mean? You're just in there swinging for the fences because, damn it, I lost that round. I got to knock this guy down. I got to knock him down, or I got to knock him out. And that's sort of how we came out. And he landed tons of shots, but it was clear that Mayamat was also slowing down. Maybe he was a little gassed already. I mean, he doesn't look like the kind who would get gassed in the second round, but he was clearly slowing down. Maybe it was a strategy. I don't know. But he was still solid. Mayamat was still solid, just a little slower. I feel like MUAY won round 2 because of his aggressiveness, and he avoided being knocked out with the super aggressiveness. Right? Round 3 would decide this fight, in my opinion. Lots of action in the third round. Hard to say who the judges are going to give this to because it was really back and forth. The third round was wild. The third round was much like the fight I gave the fight of the night to, right? I mean, it was just in each other's faces, hammering each other like crazy. How both of them remained on their feet is beyond me. But the judges saw it as a unanimous victory for Mayamat. And again, it's the knockdown kind of thing, in my opinion. If you're having a toe-to-toe, balls to the wall, back and forth fight, and you knock your opponent down in one of those 3 rounds and he never knocks you down, I've noticed a trend of those fights often going unanimously to the person who gets the knockdown. Not always, but often. Again, I was kind of shocked that this was a unanimous decision, even though I think Mayamat clearly won. I was still surprised it was unanimous. I don't have really a problem with it, but I was still surprised. Seventh fight was Sept taking on Decho. Both fighters were pretty cautious for the first half of the round 1. Okay? Again, I don't know, that's, we're talking about a minute and a half of sort of fighting cautiously, sort of measuring. Big deal. You know, what I'm saying, and I don't want to put the other leagues down. I love my bare knuckle boxing and I love dirty boxing, but occasionally they'll have entire fights of that, okay? Of the measuring, of the trying to find their pace, of their, it looks like, and I hate saying this, so I probably shouldn't, but it looks like both fighters are afraid to engage, I've seen fights like that, and I don't like them. I don't appreciate them. I respect the hell out of anybody in the ring or the cage or in the sandbags like over there in Russia like they do and in Ukraine like they do for Clan Fighting Championship. I respect them all. But we had about a minute and 30 seconds of that. Decho kept the distance of the fight, and Sept didn't get inside much. He's much shorter, Sept, so he had to get inside. And every time he did come inside, Decho was greeting him with an elbow, or just about every time. So, you got to watch. Elbows will knock you out quicker than a fist. I mean, you get hit with somebody's elbow. I mean, fists are hard too, but they do wear the small gloves. Ain't no glove on that sucker, right? You get nailed with that, you're going to be in trouble. Round 2, I felt Decho won the round simply because his strikes landed more, and you could just tell he was controlling the pace of the fight. And Decho was not expected to win this, okay? Sept knocked Decho down twice in the third round, I believe it. Well, yes, the third round. And Decho knocked Sept down once. So it's 2 knockdowns to 1. Of course, that's going to Sept for 2 knockdowns to 1. I can't explain the pace and the constant flurries of this third round. Again, this third round was representative of the fight of the night and representative of the third round of the fight before this. Both of these guys were, I don't want to call them desperate because they're both excellent fighters, but both of them desperately wanted to win this fight. Of course they did. And it showed so much in the third round. I mean, when guys are fighting, I literally lean in. You know, sometimes I might be snacking on something and I'm just watching this with eyes open like I'm mesmerized, because I am. This is mother effing fighting. You know, I'm trying not to drop a bunch of curse words on YouTube. This is fighting done right, man. And that's my old slogan when I was in pro wrestling. My website was called Wrestling Done Right. And I don't really want to have a website called Fighting Done Right. But, man, that's what this was. FDR in every way, shape, and fashion. It went to the judges, and Surianalek wins by unanimous decision. Again, he had several knockdowns. To Decho's one. And I don't want to oversimplify how this scoring works, but that's just what I'm seeing. You guys who watch this video can correct me in the comments and tell me how crazy I am, but he won the knockdown battle. He won the fight. He didn't just win the fight. He won by unanimous decision, which I'm impressed by Surianalek. Don't get me wrong. He's an impressive dude. It was his 10th win in a row. How could he not be freaking impressive? He's impressive as hell. And this Decho gave him the fight of a lifetime, baby. Decho wanted to be the one who stopped Surianalek in his tracks and kept this 10th win in a row from happening. It did not happen. He wins by unanimous decision. I thought that was a little iffy call, but a win is a win, even if you get it by split decision. But this was unanimous. Surianalek, 10th win in a row, continues to move up the charts and get shit done. Folks, that was the show, at least the Muay Thai fights. They had several MMA bouts on this show. They had several kickboxing bouts on this show. I kind of like kickboxing, but nowhere near as much as Muay Thai. So I only watch and rate the Muay Thai fights. And that's what I'm going to do here. The Muay Thai fighting on Friday Fights, one championship, number 123 from September 12th, 2025, was a 10 out of 10, bitches. It was a 10 out of 10. I loved everything about it. There were so many fights that were so, again, I'm leaning in with my mouth agape and my eyes wide open. I'm like, damn, boy. Guys getting knocked down and back up. Guys getting knocked out cold. Guys just fighting like their life depended on it. You know, kicks and knees. And, man, it's everything I think a sports combat fan wants to see. Muay Thai. And nobody does it better than one championship with the small gloves. From what I understand, there's some smaller organizations. My boy Randy Costa out there just was in a small glove contest that he won after 3 rounds in a smaller organization, which I can't recall the name of it. Forgive me, I didn't write it down. Didn't know I was going to be talking about him. But this stuff needs to explode. Small glove Muay Thai needs to be everywhere. It's never going to happen, but I wish RWS would do it. I like that show, but the big giant gloves sort of is kind of boring after watching one Muay Thai. I'm sorry, guys, it just is. Those fighters are ungodly skilled, but the big gloves, they don't make you have to be quite as defensive. And I don't like that. I don't hate it. It's still good company. I'll still check it out here or there. But, man, it would be added here to my reviews in a heartbeat if they just switched to the small gloves and make it more exciting. 10 out of 10. One championship Muay Thai is where it's at. And it's every Friday nights on YouTube for free. If you ain't watching this stuff, there's something wrong with your brain. I'm Adam Lavelle of KnuckleTFUp.com. I'll be here every Friday to discuss this. And I'll be here every time there's a bare knuckle show or dirty boxing, because these are the best companies in the world. Hell, I don't watch any other sports anymore. I'm too involved and wrapped up in this legitimate badassery. And I'll be back to talk about more badassery before you know it.